Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our next installment of the OperaLIVE broadcast series. My name is Cody Martin. I'm the Director of Education at Pensacola Opera, and I'm coming to you once more live from my home. We have been busy continuing to fulfill our mission of providing high-quality arts, entertainment, and educational content to our community, even as that has necessarily shifted to a more digital direction over the past month. But in the meantime, we are also, of course, looking forward to a time when we can rejoin each other in the theater during our 38th season. If you are a current subscriber, you can renew your subscription anytime by calling the Opera Center and dialing extension 101. New subscribers will be able to purchase seats beginning on May 4th, with single tickets going available on June 1st. You can visit our website for all the details. It's going to be a very special season, and I hope to see you all there. Now, during this broadcast today, if you have any questions for either me or for my guest, please drop them in the comments section, and we will answer them, as many of them as we can. Now, to introduce our guest for today's chat, Dr. Ruth Orth has been a longtime supporter and advocate for Pensacola Opera, both locally and on the national level. And as an avid opera fan, I'm excited to hear from someone on the other side of the curtain today. So welcome, Dr. Ruth.
Hi, Cody. And
hello, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Great. So I would love to just start with a little, tell me about yourself in 60 or 90 seconds. Where are you from? What brought you to Pensacola? What do you do?
I'll put myself on double time. Double speed. I grew up in Shreveport, Louisiana, schooled in Virginia, New Orleans, San Diego, Dallas, and then moved here longer than you could possibly remember. I've been here in practice of rheumatology since the mid-'80s, and I'm still working, mostly making phone calls, but also seeing people when the need arrives. And otherwise, I've enjoyed being at home.
Yeah, that's great. So you said you're a doctor. What is it like right now? I mean, this is an interesting time, I'm sure, in your field.
Well, it is. And of course, I'm not on the front lines, as are the emergency staff and the ICU and the hospitalists, and my hearts go out to them, and my great, great thanks for what they do. They're an extraordinary group of heroes, and we all owe them quite a debt of gratitude for what they do.
Oh, yes, definitely. So let's talk about Pensacola Opera. So you said you've been here since the mid-'80s, and how did you come to know about the opera when you moved here, and how did you get involved?
Well, let's see. Let me tell you about my interest in opera, and then I'll come to Pensacola.
Yeah.
I grew up listening really to all kinds of music. In Louisiana, we had jazz, blues, a lot of Motown. And I wonder if anybody out there remembers Bobby Bland or Irma Thomas. They were our high school entertainers. Thereafter, I went to college, and although I had listened to symphonic music mostly through my lifetime, this was the first time in college that I was introduced to opera. We had a performance of Così fan tutte, and not only was there the beautiful music that I had grown up listening to, but now we had extraordinary voices, lights, action, camera, everything. The costuming, it was all extraordinarily, and it just took me over. I was hooked thereafter. So I have had a long interest in opera. When I arrived in Pensacola, life happened, and I raised children, had the privilege of having two of my children, of four that we have, sing in the Pensacola Children's Opera, and both daughter and son sang in two different productions of Pensacola Opera's La Boheme in Act 2, and it was really wonderful. They loved it. I loved it. That's when I really got to know Pensacola Opera and started attending. I think the next year was a Rigoletto that just had me, just so excited. And so the rest is history.
Of course.
Joined the board.
So you've been an active trustee, and you've been board president more than once?
No.
Just one time?
On the board for a number of years. I've served on the executive committee about all that time. I chaired for a number of years, and now I still serve on the executive committee, and I think my major job is to be a cheerleader.
Of course.
I love our company. I love what we do.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And do you have any favorite productions or experiences with the opera here?
Absolutely. Of course, the Rigoletto that I mentioned just sucks me in. I like our so many of them, and I'll say this. Although I do travel and visit opera all around the country, many of my favorites are just right here. Our Carmens are always wonderful. There was a time I can remember when I used to say, I've seen Carmen, don't need another one. But now I'm just dying for the next one because everyone is a little different, wonderful cast and so on. And they're all a little different. I like our Puccini lineup. I always like a Tosca or Butterfly, and Turandot was fabulous the couple times that we've done it while I've been on the board here. And I guess one of my really favorite memories is some of you may not remember, or some of you do, that we closed the Sanger in the early 2000s for renovation. And I think it was 2009, we reopened the Sanger with just an explosive, beautiful, wonderful Aida performance.
Oh, yes.
Every seat was sold. The audience was just wild about the performance, and as was I. It's something to go down in history. It was fabulous. Good cast, by the way.
Actually, I have a picture of one of the special co-stars of that production.
Oh, right. Let's see. So now let's see. They both look pretty good, but yeah, that one in the middle. Now I remember her name. I think it may have been.
I think it was Kamba, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you have time for a little story about Kamba?
Yes, please. We love stories.
Although I'm not. I just want, my disclaimer is I think that was fabulous, but I'm not really so wild now about putting animals on stage. But we did it. We took very good care of Kamba.
Yes.
Kamba traveled at the time with a companion. So our wonderful supporters and board members, the Potters, managed to house our elephants out at the zoo. So they were there at the zoo, but the companion, whose name I don't remember, had to come with Kamba to rehearsal and to performance. Well, Kamba apparently knows, and I honestly don't remember if it was a he or she, knows his cue. So
I think it was a she, her cue.
So when the right music starts, Kamba starts an entrance. Well, we had to hold Kamba because the Sanger entrance was not as long as the
It's a smaller theater, yes.
Yeah, but that was quite the performance.
Yeah, that was before my time. I wish I could have seen that, but I think Kamba's retired to Dallas now. If I did some research, and I think she's at the Dallas Zoo now. Mm-hmm. Now, in addition to Opera America, or in addition to Pensacola Opera, you're also heavily involved with Opera America, which is our national organization that supports and promotes companies around the country. So tell me how you got involved with them and what you've done with them.
Early in my years with Pensacola Opera, Mark Skorka, who was the president and CEO of Opera America, came to help us. Met him then, and he was establishing a group called Trustee Forum, inviting trustees from around the country to convene at the Opera America meetings. And we did, and I've attended, we meet twice a year now. The forum is open to any other trustees who are interested and willing to go. I've been to almost every one. We go to one or two per year. And again, in combination with the Opera America meetings. It's fabulous to meet with trustees from other parts of the country, other organizations. And of course, I mentioned being a cheerleader. I'm also just a groupie. So to be there and see performances at other opera companies and meet with the artists and other staff is just really exciting. So it is open for our other trustees.
Fantastic. And I have a little picture because you gave a presentation at one of the national conferences 2 years ago. So what were you talking about that year?
Mark asked me to do a little presentation on what Opera America had done for me. personally, and our opera company. And that's what I did. And
Yeah. Fantastic.
again, was on stage with all sorts of just neat people to
Yeah.
be
Um,
meeting with.
what do you hear? I mean, when you talk to trustees from other companies, do you feel like we have similar concerns as them, and similar
Absolutely.
challenges?
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of the same wherever you go, yeah?
It doesn't matter what size the opera company is, what the budget is, the problems and challenges and rewards are all the same. It's all money, audience, the graying of the audience, and
Yeah.
it just comes in different degrees. And this is, so I've met with opera companies who are smaller than we are, but then also our trustee forum is well represented by LA, San Francisco, Seattle, Chicago. So Houston
Yeah.
is a big company with an Opera America presence.
Yeah. So you get to meet a wide range of sizes. That's really great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So kind of on the lines of challenges for companies and where opera is headed, I know that you are also interested in newer works.
I am indeed.
Talk a little bit about that. What
Yeah.
draws you to newer pieces, and what have you seen?
So I guess so early in my opera gazing career, I really liked the classics and the standard rep, and I still do in big houses, and I still do. But as I sort of grow in my knowledge and experience of opera, I think I have come to really enjoy works that are a little bit more contemporary, and that address issues that are important to our current audiences,
Mhm.
the 21st century audiences. And I'll have to say, I'm just so gratified that our company has been willing to sort of step out of our comfort zone and produce some of the smaller, newer operas that address such difficult topics. They're not always as entertaining as some of the older, more standard rep, but my goodness, I am always just totally amazed at how beautifully an opera can, the written word, the sung word, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
can touch my heart and bring attention to issues that I might not have paid much attention to before. I mean, for example, we did a few years ago, our artist in residence performed in Glory Denied about POW experience. We did a beautiful production of Jake Heggie's Out of Darkness that I could still, I mean, it brings tears to my eyes when I think of some of the lyrics from that beautiful, beautiful piece. Dead Man Walking, of course, that was a big one. This last year, we had, in the fall, we had a just stunning production of As One, a very small opera written about a transgender experience. And there it is. And now look at this stage. We were on the stage of PLT. So you see the heads of the audience. We were in the round, and there's our favorite Elise Qualiata performing, and Cody conducting the quartet in the background. It was so moving. It was a gorgeous piece, and I only wish that we could have had more people in attendance or do it, many more times. It was quite stunning.
Yeah, I loved that piece. I love the piece itself, but also just the idea of having producing it in such an intimate space. I mean, we limited it to 100 people per show, which is very small. And like you said, we were right there on stage in 3/4 round, so the singers were right. You could reach out and touch them. And I love things like that.
I do too, and I come to enjoy it as much as I love being in our Sanger, which is about 1,500 seats. And by the way, I mean, our 1,500 seat Sanger is a lot smaller than many of the big houses around the country. I've about a year or so ago, I thought I need to get some opera glasses, and then I thought this past few months, I thought, I don't ever want to need opera glasses again. I'd rather be in a smaller house, and the Sanger is beautiful and just the right size. I don't need glasses there.
Yeah.
certainly don't in these smaller venues. And I think outside has some opportunity for us also.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Did you make it to our Opera After Dark last fall? We had a lot of fun with that.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yes.
That was wonderful, including the train.
Yes, the train made a star appearance in the middle of the second set.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, speaking of outside downtown Pensacola arts community,
Mhm.
what do you feel makes Pensacola? Why do we have such a thriving art scene, and why is that important
Well,
for us?
interesting you ask. And yes, we do have a thriving art scene. I mean, not only I'm going to put Pensacola Opera at the top of the list, but we also have beautiful a symphony that's very, very accomplished and always programming very good works. We have local theater. We have a ballet company.
Mhm.
We have a lot of support for the arts here, and I'm not sure why that is, except that I think there are a lot of people here who have an interest and who are willing to step up and say something on behalf of the arts and be supportive. You know, I think that the arts are so important to any community, but my goodness, when I think about what we're going through now, and then when I think about what brings us together, think about all of the events that we have, whether they're in the Sanger, whether it's jukebox or operazzi, or just a get together, or like you said, Opera After Dark. People come together and can enjoy the beauty of music and commune and have a good time.
Yeah.
And I think that's extremely important. And we'll be doing that again. I'm confident of that. So
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I'm sure I'm so excited for just being around people and hearing music together again.
Yeah,
That's
I agree.
I mean, I
And
think we're all going to need that by the end of
let me
this.
put in a plug for Cody. I think what you're doing is wonderful. I love signing in and seeing the names of who's watching and
Yeah.
who's with us. You know, so this is a community. This is an opera family. We're all here together and sharing. And another, I suppose one of the things I've enjoyed about being at home is I've had just enough quiet time to take advantage of being able to watch Cody do these broadcasts, and I also want to give you thanks for doing all that you do during the year. Opera University, is that what you called it, or Opera 101?
Yeah. I'm
Where
actually looking into doing a virtual opera university soon.
that would be great.
So we'll see. I got to figure out all the logistics on that, but I
See,
think
you
that would be
teach me
something.
a lot. You teach me lots about opera, and I really like that. So
Yeah, well, I think it's good as an audience member to know a little more, just rather than the surface level, if you come and just know the story and hear the music, it's beautiful and you enjoy it, but I think it's nice to know a little bit more about how things are written and what goes into, the actual music theory and things like that.
as do I.
Yes.
And I think that what I've found through the years is listening to recordings of the operas that we're going to hear and looking at who has sung, what well-known singers have done these roles before.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's a way to make a friend of an opera.
Right.
It's pretty neat.
And using our next season as an example, so we have Carmen coming up in January and then HMS Pinafore in March. But in January for Carmen, Elise Qualiata is singing Carmen, who was a former artist in residence with us. And she's done the role, more than a handful of times already. Right. She did her first one here in Pensacola, actually. Right. So you could go online and find countless videos of her in that role and kind of, it's like a preview, it's exactly. And it only gets better with time. So we know that the one that she does with us in January will be her best because she's learned the role that much more, and it's always interesting to watch singers develop themselves like that. Let's see. I have one question over here from Mary who asks, are there any discussions about online or remote performances? I think she's probably asking about what we're planning, but I mean, there's so much online content right now. We have a resource page on our website, the Learn From Home page, that has listings of, the Met is doing things all the time. We are actually right now working on a kind of fun performance video. It's going to be clipped together, and I don't want to give away too much of that because it's going to be a surprise when it comes out. But, depending on how long this lasts, I'm sure we will be putting more online performances together, as is everybody else, So do you have any good tidbits about online or remote performances that you've seen, Ruth?
Oh, yeah. Well, of course, we're at the top of the list. I've been watching the Met on demand. And of course, they've offered free replays through the week, but I like to do it when I can watch. So that's mostly what I've watched. And I keep thinking I'm going to watch a lot of the others, but to be honest, there are not enough hours in the day.
Right.
I'm busy. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm quite so busy.
A great resource that I have been telling people about is the Opera YouTube channel, because they have on there a bunch of archive events from the National Opera Center. So you can watch, little short performances, but you can also watch interviews with creators and interviews with singers and professionals and master classes. And so if you just want a shorter, a less time intensive thing, there's a lot of great information there too.
Yeah, may I say something? I failed to put in a plug there for Opera America, who, if you go to their website, there's a whole list of what's available streaming from opera companies around the country. And some of our performers you will see in some of those clips at other opera houses.
Yeah, I'm going to put a couple of links in the chat just in case anybody's looking for things. Great. Let's see.
I want to make another plug if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
For our opera company and for the other arts companies as well. I know that times are difficult now with staying in. Our economy is doing what I won't go into detail there. So I know there are people who say, well, there are going to be more important things than supporting the arts when we come out of this. But I want to remind everyone that the arts are just the soul of what we do as human beings and how we can come together and heal. And I know I don't have any question that opera and symphony, and specifically Pensacola Opera, will be a big player in the healing of what we're going through right now. So, and we do continue to need everyone's support, interest. Please stay active, interested, and listen to these broadcasts and take advantage of other opportunities you have to stay in the opera family.
Definitely. Yes. Thank you for that plug. Yeah. Because, we're still working hard here to try to stay connected and stay engaged and excited. And actually, I think, the silver lining is that we've all had to kind of adapt, and we're all finding new ways to reach audiences and to keep people, informed and in the know with opera. So I think it's actually partially been a good thing. Because, hopefully we'll carry some of these practices forward once we are able to perform again. Karen says she would love another Opera After Dark performance. Well, so this is a first scoop that Opera After Dark 2020 will be returning on October 16th, which is gallery night in October. So mark your calendar for that. And we'll have all the details for that upcoming, of course. But just since you asked about it, I'll go ahead and give you that date.
Thank you.
I don't see any more questions. Do you have any more thoughts for the cause today, Ruth?
Thoughts for the cause? Yeah, listen to opera.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. I besides what I've already said about what we do for the community, I remember that the arts organizations support the community monetarily also. We hire singers, we hire production personnel, we bring people to town, we buy hotel rooms, they eat at our restaurants, and as do we as well. So all that's very important. I have a friend who had once told me that he was really not a fan of opera at all. He wouldn't be in our opera house. However, he would never consider moving to a community that didn't have a vibrant opera company.
Sure.
And he's somebody who's well known here. And yeah,
Fantastic.
I'm very grateful for that attitude. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have to really, although I hope you do love opera, you don't have to love opera to love what Pensacola Opera does for our community.
Yeah. And even if you think you don't love opera, I mean, we do a lot of different sorts of things. So you could come see us at a Pours and Encores, just a little low pressure brewery event, or one of our pop-ups at gallery night, or, you know, you don't have to come sit in the theater and experience an entire 3-hour performance. There's lots of different scales of what we are able to do.
Agreed.
Awesome. Well, I think we are about out of time. So thank you again for joining me, Ruth. I hope you had fun. I know I sure did.
It's a pleasure.
And everybody, just a reminder that subscriptions, if you are renewing your subscription, please do that whenever you would like. And new subscribers can purchase seats beginning on May 4th. And in the meantime, follow us here on Facebook. We've got a lot of exciting and interesting programming planned during this time when we are all at home. So thanks again, Ruth, and thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.